So we've got our keywords, we've got our customer pain points and connectivity points. The next step is to put everything together in a listing. How many listings do you think you have optimized or worked on in your time?
Thousands, too many to count.
Yes, I might not be at that level. I've done about maybe 600 or 700 myself, but this is probably one of the more fun aspects of the Amazon journey, because it's like you're creating this copy, and we're not copywriters, but thanks to the tools and different AI tools, we can all be copywriters, sometimes even in languages that aren't our native languages, thanks to AI. So let's go ahead and hop into this module and put our keyword research and our customer intelligence all together.
Okay, so how can you bring all of that customer insights, the keyword research into a listing? Because it's not just about, hey, throwing it all in there and stuffing a keyword with all these keywords you found. You've got to tailor your listing for two things, again, that we've been talking about: the Amazon algorithm and relevancy to Amazon, and something that speaks to a human being who is your customer. And the way you can do this is through your listing optimization. So in Listing Builder, we're not going to go too deep into this, but what I suggest doing is all of those keywords that you had found in the module where we talked about it, put them into your keyword list. All right. That means that you have to be, what? You remember, indexed for that keyword. The way you get indexed is to have that keyword in your listing. Now, what we developed here at Helium 10 over time, I actually did this over 6 to 9 months, where I launched a few hundred different products with different effects I was studying to the listing and ranking stuff. If I had something in phrase form, if I had it 2 times instead of 1 time, if I had it in a plural form. I mean, there's all these things I was testing over months to see the effects of it on the Amazon algorithm. And now it's not like, oh, I have completely deconstructed the Amazon algorithm and I know it to a T. No, of course not. There's just so many things to know about it that it would be impossible to even study it 20 years and be able to recreate the algorithm on your own. But at least I had a good idea about the effects of having something in your title as opposed to the bullet point, having something in plural form versus singular form, like coffin shelf or coffin shelves, having something that is not in phrase form. So what do I mean by that? Let's say that there's a keyword here. You see stuffed animal hammock. To be indexed for this keyword, I could have stuffed somewhere in the title, animal in the bullet points, hammock in the description, or potentially maybe even just my image. And would I be searchable potentially for stuffed animal hammock? Yes, it's a possibility. But does that send relevancy signals to Amazon? No. If they have to piece together a whole phrase from different parts of the listing, it assumes that, okay, this is probably not that important of a phrase. But then let's say in my title, I have the exact phrase, stuffed animal hammock. That sends maximum relevancy signals to Amazon. First of all, because it's in the title. And second of all, because it's in phrase form. So Amazon's like, oh, yeah, this is definitely a stuffed animal hammock. And that's the way the Amazon algorithm works. Now, you can't put all of your phrases in the title. Obviously, Destiny talked about another module about how sometimes you can just have 200 characters, sometimes even only 100. You can't even put all of the keywords in phrase form in your listing. Sometimes in your keyword research phases, you might have found 50 keywords, 100 keywords, 200 keyword phrases that you want to be indexed for. So what is the strategy to do? I would say focus on your top 10 keywords that you want to be indexed for. Like we have something in Listing Builder called the competitor performance score. This is based on how much search volume it has, and that all of the top competitors, all of the top players in your niche are all ranking for it and ranking highly for it. It means it's a high competitor performance score, meaning it's one of the more important keywords for your niche. So like have a top 10, 15 list of those and try and make sure those are in phrase form in your listing. You can do that with this Listing Builder tool as you write your listing. Like for example, stuffed animal holder is somewhere here on this list. And that means right here, the fact that I have it in phrase form in one of my bullet points, it's going to give me a line through it, meaning I've got it covered. Outside of this, you don't see it here at the top. It's going to show all the individual words as well. Because remember, like I said, you don't have to put everything in phrase form to be indexed for it. But all those 200 keyword phrases, you might think, how in the world do I have room for that in my listing? Well, no. Those 200 phrases that probably have 600 words, let's just say, if each keyword phrase has 3 words, you might not have room for 600 words, but there's not 600 individual words there. There's probably only like 150 individual words, and then just like words that are repeated over and over. Like you see here, hammock, hammock, stuffed, 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 stuffs. All right. So you might only have 100 or 150 individual words that you have to have in your listing to be searchable for it. And again, why are we talking about this in the context of advertising? If you want to run exact match ads on exact keyword match, you have to be indexed for the keyword first. All right. If you want to have a broad possibility for like a broad match ad, like maybe I might have a broad match campaign I'm going to do for stuffed animals, right? Because I can see that there's so many words here. Well, I got to have the word stuffed animal at least in my listing, and a lot of these other long tail keywords, because if I want to like make Amazon know that I'm relevant for some of these keywords, it's going to help your visibility when you're running auto campaigns and your broad match campaigns, because Amazon is in the business of making money. How does Amazon make money? It's when people click something and we pay them the advertising, or people click it and they purchase the product. They want to show relevant things to customers. And so it's in Amazon's best interest to kind of like highlight, whether we're talking advertising or not, the keywords that are going to give Amazon the best chance to get that click or that sale. And so they're not just going to randomly show you for keywords that have nothing to do with your listing. So the more relevancy signals you send to Amazon by the way you write your listing, it's also going to have an effect on your advertising. So use AI if you want to, like maybe get help, like in Listing Builder. You can actually have these written with AI based on the keywords here, and have a good start, and then maybe you just tailor make it, especially if you're making a listing in a language that you're not a native speaker of. Like I kind of speak Spanish, but I might not want to rely on my own Spanish to make a listing for Amazon Spain. I might want to use AI, which is a fluent Spanish speaker, to write the listing based on my keywords. Maybe you're from Germany and you're wanting to make a listing in Amazon USA. If you're from Germany and you're making a listing for Amazon USA, if English is not your first language, you might speak English, but I would recommend using AI for the first round, and then, kind of like rounding out the listing later with some different aspects. So the journey we've been taking here in this group of modules is going from keyword research to customer research, and then what pulls it all together is listing optimization.
All right, so now you've got your listing ready. What's the last step?
The next step is taking everything from that listing and making sure it works directly with our Amazon advertising. In order to advertise your listing, these things have to work hand in hand, and we've already done all the hard work. How do we incorporate that directly into ads? We'll talk about that here.
We'll see you in the next module.